The water from this well is dirty and contaminated, but it's the best there is for those that live here. This is the village of Tuol Sambo, a community of corrugated metal houses and 52 families who have one thing in common. They're all HIV positive. In tears, Sun Davi tells us how the government forced her to move into a small shack here. She says it's unbearably hot. She must share it with 7 other members of her family.
We're afraid we'll die here. It's so unfair for my children.
In June, Davi and the other HIV families were living in this district in the capital, Phnom Penh. But the government evicted them to make way for a new building and garden for the Ministry of Tourism. Their new home, put up by authorities, is 25 kilometers away. It is unsanitary, far from medical services, and there is nowhere for them to work.
This is discrimination. We've no way to make any money, and we're getting sicker.
Davi shows us sores on the back of her 6-year-old son. Others tell us they're battling diarrhea, coughs, fever. They also worry their AIDS medicine is spoiling in the heat. Keo Chen is the latest AIDS worker to visit the village. He and more than 100 concerned agencies are urging the government to allow the families to return to the city.
The living standards here do not meet the basic conditions of people in Cambodia, let alone internationally. If this continues, people will die.
The government says it's done all it can for the HIV families. They argue their old neighborhood was a slum, set up on state property.
We are not discriminating. They were squatters, and we are actually giving them property and homes, even though the city didn't need to.
What is in dispute, new apartments nearby which were promised to the families but then given to others. What they ended up with was Tuol Sambo. Right next door to here is a stark contrast to the AIDS village. These are new buildings meant for the homeless, built by a Catholic charity group called Caritas. As you can see, they're using concrete and brick, and a lot more money is being spent on it. The HIV families say they have grown used to being marginalized. Their children are barred from school out of concern they will infect others. Their fear, the AIDS colony will become their permanent shelter, far from the home they know. Steve Chao, Al Jazeera, Phnom Penh.